Hello, future transport. You're expecting me to tell you today what my answers are to provide a future transport system for Bristol that will resolve our congestion. Well, I'm not going to tell you. Now, I've got a much better idea. I'm going to ask you instead. What I would do if I was Metro Mayor would be to hold a festival of future transport. I would ask all the inventors and designers who've dreamed up new ways of transporting people and getting around to bring them to Bristol and demonstrate, or at the very least to put on some kind of exhibition showing us what their ideas are. And I mean all the modern ones. That means no cars, no buses, no trains, no bicycles, definitely no trams. But anything else they can bring in, no matter how weird, jet backpacks, flying cars, anything, you can bring the lot. We'll have a look at everything, because somewhere in there are some really good ideas that deserve supporting. And then when we've done that, we can have a discussion, and I say discussion, not debate, because a debate infers two sides in an argument. We will have a discussion and decide what we wish to do to transport people around Bristol and the surrounding area, of course, in the 21st century. Now, just supposing you could walk down the road, and instead of waiting for a bus, your personal transporter was sitting there waiting for you. You hop in it and it whizzes you across the city at 20 miles an hour above the traffic without stopping. Your local councillors will tell you this is science fiction. It's actually not, it's history. A system like that was designed in Bristol in 1995 by the late Professor Martin Lowson. The Bristol City Council turned it down because it cost too much money. It was £9 million a kilometre. You won't have heard about it because they keep the report under wraps. It took me 5 months to force it out of them. There's actually a better system available now called Skytran. NASA are developing it, and that will whiz you across the city at 60 miles an hour, and it costs only £7 million per kilometre. Now think about it. For the money we spent on Metrobus, Metro Rail and the Greater Bristol Bus Network, we could have had 50 kilometres of Skytran, or 36 miles. It's a shocking waste of money. Anyway, these are the things that are available, and that is my view on how we should progress. Let us have a look at everything that's out there and then select the way we go forward. But I hear you say, that's okay, but that's in the future. We need a solution to the traffic congestion in Bristol now. Well, you're right, and I've got a policy for that too. It's called CTR, or Clear the Road. We've got a huge number of obstructions that have been put in the way of our traffic over the last 20 or 30 years. I showed you one the other day when I demonstrated how a cycle path could obstruct a junction. Lots of other junctions have been obstructed though, where for example you've had large traffic islands put in there that have reduced the traffic from one lane to two. One that comes to my mind is the junction between Muller Road and Shelburne Avenue. I'm sure you can think of others. And then there's the amazing number of traffic lights that we've had installed. I'm sure we don't need all of these. Now, of course, we could talk about which ones to remove endlessly. I wouldn't talk about it. I'd simply switch them off and see what happens. If it causes absolute chaos, then we switch them back on. But if the traffic flows better, then we leave them switched off. The same thing is true, really, of pedestrian crossings. They've been growing like weeds as well of late. I can't believe that we really need all of them. It's almost as if people aren't allowed to cross the road anymore unless there's a pedestrian crossing there. Again, I think we need to simply take them out of service and see what happens. And then, of course, there's bus stops. Part of the Greater Bristol Bus Network was to install bus stops that stick out into the road, so that when the bus actually stops, it totally blocks the traffic. Now, this is absolutely ludicrous. You don't solve traffic congestion by doing stupid things like that. Those bus stops should be taken out of service immediately. That is what I would do. There are numerous other measures we could take. All across the city, there have been traffic restrictions put in that we don't need. No right turn, no left turn, road closures and so on. Typically what happens is a councillor needs an issue to make a fuss in the locality, so they talk about a local rat run. A term I don't like because the rats he's referring to are actually the people who elect him. Well, I think we should reopen these residential routes and see whether there really is a reason why people shouldn't use them or not. I think the more of these we could reopen them, the more we could ease traffic congestion. And then there are the roads that have been closed. Look at the city centre. Look at what they've been doing. Absolutely crazy. Not to mention, of course, the absurdity of closing a perfectly good road in Queen Square. Well, those are my plans for transport. I hope you like some of them. If you like what you've heard, or even if you don't, then please share it. And don't forget, if you want to comment, or you want to tell me something, ask a question, bishopstonbarry@uwclub.net. Tomorrow's talk will be about housing. Your home, I should call it, because that's an issue that really is vital. An enormous number of people in Bristol are struggling to find anywhere to live. Bye.